does the body have the ability to heal regardless of what trauma that has been through? Even after surgeries, trauma, viruses, damage, all kinds of damage to the body, does the physical body really can it heal 100%, really?
Yes. Now, again, you are talking about the idea of quote-unquote circumstances that are relevant to what theme you are exploring. Certain themes you are exploring may not have chosen for the body to be allowed to heal, but in the generalized answer, yes, the body is capable of healing from anything. Anything. But you have to be in the right vibration to allow it to do so. You can aid the body in that sense vibrationally in its ability to heal from just about anything by doing certain physical things that are representative of being in alignment with the collective agreement about what health is, such as detoxification. Because if you live in an environment that you actually believe to be toxic, your body is absorbing those toxins. Those toxins lodge in your cells. So no matter what it is you put in your body that might be beneficial, if the cells are blocked from absorbing the nutrients by being full of toxins, then putting all that will not help you. But if you flush your body of the toxins and make room for the nutrients, then when the body has the building blocks it needs to heal itself, it can heal itself from anything. So that's one approach to it. Obviously, there's an energetic approach, all sorts of different approaches. But fundamentally, yes, your body can be in an absolutely natural state of health absolutely all the time, no matter what it has been through. It can always have the ability. It always has the ability to repair. Because again, remember, what are you actually doing? You're not actually changing that body. You're shifting yourself back into a parallel reality wherein the body is, by definition, healthy. So the answer, in a sense, is yes and no. Linearly speaking, in time-space perspective, yes, the body can heal itself from anything. Mechanically speaking, from a physics point of view, the body actually never has to heal itself. You just have to shift your consciousness into a body that's already healthy. The body that is injured is one body in one parallel reality. The body that is healthy is another body in another parallel reality.
So we take on new bodies and others?
Yes.
So you're saying I'm going to be a different physical body
When
tomorrow?
I talk about the idea that you are shifting through billions of parallel realities every second, I am saying that everything is different, including your body. Because that's just a projection. It's part of the projection of the parallel reality. I'm not saying your original body is moving through parallel realities. I'm saying your consciousness is shifting into the body that's already in that parallel reality. Take me literally. Take me literally. This is actually literally physically happening because physical reality is just an illusion anyway. Your physical body isn't real. Your experience of it is real, but it's just a projection of your consciousness anyway.
So we have some certain therapies that are cutting edge, like O3, certain herbs.
Permission slips, any tool, any technique, any ritual of any kind is a permission slip. Some of those things will work for some people, some of them will not, because people simply need to find whatever permission slip is most aligned with the belief system that they believe will help them, because it is their belief systems and energy fields and resonance that created the dis-ease to begin with. You understand?
Yeah, it's interesting how some people can have a dis-ease and they don't know they have a dis-ease.
Yes. But it is because they are not willing to look at the belief system and they are allowing it to remain unconscious because they are too afraid to look at it. It is fear that causes most manifestations of disease. Fear to look at the things within yourself that you believe might be true. Nothing negative you could ever look at within yourself will ever actually empirically be true. But you might be afraid that it is and afraid to look at it. And the longer you're afraid to accept a portion of yourself then the longer that portion will begin to shout and protest and get your attention in whatever way it needs to. And if it has to create an imbalance within you to do so and get you to face that it belongs to you as a part of you too, and get you to love it as unconditionally as you may love every other part, then it will do whatever it can to grab your attention, even if it has to destroy you to do so. So, if you don't prefer that, the more you pay attention to everything going on within your consciousness, within your beliefs, the more transparent you are with yourself, the more honest you are with yourself about what you hold to be true, the more disease-free you will be. Yes?
So therapies for curing, for healing are basically based on belief.
It is all based on belief. There is nothing in physical reality that is not. It doesn't matter that there might be a physicalized component or a physicalized reflection that you call chemistry or physics or medicine or science. Those are still just reflections of what you already believe in your consciousness to be true for you. Yes?
Yes.
So it's all based on belief. It's all based on consciousness. It's all based on vibration. It's all based on resonance. It's all based on state of being. That's why we say, circumstances do not matter. Only state of being does. Because it's state of being that creates circumstances. Circumstances don't create state of being. It's the other way around.
This person wants to know about fighting illness, that the warlike victim-perpetrator mentality is something that human beings are exploring. And even in our own bodies, we have special cells that fight off invaders. Can you give us a more positive way to look at what is happening as we go through an illness other than fighting it off?
Yes, if you actually pay attention to the mechanisms inside your body, you will understand that your body doesn't fight off invaders. It incorporates them and absorbs them and transforms them. It allows them to pass on, so to speak, to a different state that is no longer harmful to the body. So you need a deeper understanding of the mechanisms that are actually going on in your body so that you don't look at it as a war or a fighting situation, because that's not what's happening. It's a vibrational shift to a different state of being. It's not a fight. And so therefore, with regard to illness, more acceptance of why the illness is there will allow it to transform more quickly by understanding the lessons that it is there to teach you based on your belief systems. So it's not about fighting, it's about relating, it's about communication, it's about understanding and letting it pass on into a different state once you have learned the lesson, once you have absorbed the meaning.
So my question is, what specifically can I do to help my children heal from peanut and tree nut allergies?
There can be many things, but first and foremost, it is important to make sure health-wise that the systems are not polluted. Detoxification of the entire system is key. So first, detoxify the bodies as thoroughly as you possibly can. Actually purge the toxins from the cells. There are many different kinds of formulations, herbal remedies, and potions that can actually purge toxins from the cells to allow the cells to absorb nutrients that will then heal the body from just about anything. The idea of allergies generally, you have to take it on a case-by-case basis to be specific, but generally represent the idea of self-rejection. So they're holding on to belief systems where they're rejecting themselves in some way, because nature seems to be rejecting them. You understand?
So are there specific foods that I should give them, or?
Well, first, again, the idea of the detoxification. Then whatever symptoms are actually left is what you're really dealing with. And you're no longer dealing with the symptoms that are produced by the toxins themselves. You understand?
Yes.
Your air is polluted, your water is polluted, your food is polluted. You force toxins into your system all day long, just by breathing, just by drinking, just by eating. So it is a good idea on a relatively regular basis to detoxify the system to see what's actually left that you need to deal with. It's quite possible that if you actually thoroughly detoxify their system, you may find that most of the symptoms are gone. Yes?
Okay.
And then you can deal with the deeper issues. Belief systems that have to do with self-rejection and so on and so forth, if that comes up.
Okay, so following that are humans are really designed to eat meat if yes,
Not
what kinds?
necessarily. It depends upon the human. It's up to you to understand what your body consciousness says that you may need, but you have to really be in touch with what it is it actually needs and not just do it because everyone says you should. And there are also, even if you do eat animal protein, many different ways of going about doing it that are far more natural, far more respectful, far more organic, far more natural. Develop a relationship as it used to be with the animal. Let the animal work with you. And do remember, in every case that you absorb anything from nature, nature is also absorbing you into it.
Okay.
Eating is a two-way street.
I've experienced debilitating severe pain in my body for the last 16 years,
All
which is
right.
getting worse.
All right.
And I'm done with it.
Oh,
I
all
want
right.
it to be healed.
Yes.
And I'd like your help in helping me figure
All
out.
right. Well, again, the first question usually, energetically speaking, is what have you learned from having that experience that you might otherwise not have learned? Start acknowledging what you've learned in a positive context.
I've learned to appreciate ability in the body, and since I've had it taken away from me, I've learned to appreciate putting healthy things in my body through diet and lifestyle, and to try to maintain that optimum wellness.
All right.
Stuff like that.
Anything else?
I've learned that it's awful having it. It's difficult. I prefer not to have it.
Is that what you've learned?
I guess I have to dig deeper to really feel into the deeper lessons that I've learned by having it.
Then that might be a good thing for you to start with. Because when you start acknowledging how creating this for yourself has served you in a positive way, then you will be acknowledging that you've learned the lesson, and then the message doesn't have to be delivered in the same way. You understand?
Yes.
Because you're saying, I'm willing to get this, I'm willing to learn, without necessarily forcing myself into a situation where I have no other choice. Because I've arrived at a place where I am not giving myself any other choice but to know these truths for myself as true. You follow?
Yes.
Now, I do have one other suggestion for you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that you have learned from having this experience, have you in any way, shape, or form been teaching others who have similar experiences how to gain positive lessons from having it?
No, not exactly.
What do you mean, not exactly?
Well, I'm in the helping profession, but I don't think I've directly tried to help other people who have chronic pain.
Why not? Since you are an expert
Well,
at it.
I haven't mastered it, and I haven't overcome it, so I feel
Why
like
do you
I
think you need to overcome it in order to teach how to deal with it? In fact, what makes you think you won't be a better teacher by still having it while you are also sharing what you've learned from it that might help someone else?
Well, I just don't feel that I do deal with it very well. I feel like I suffer from it. There's suffering that comes from it.
Stop. I'm not talking about the physical experience. We've just had a conversation where you've admitted that you have learned some positive things that you otherwise might not have learned by having this experience. Yes?
Yes,
That's the conversation.
I see.
And while you're having that conversation, not that anyone else has to do it that way, but while you're sharing the possibility, the option that they might be able to turn it around and ask themselves that very interesting introspective question of, well, if I hadn't this experience, would I have learned what I have learned? Would I know what I know? Would I be the person that I've become? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe that's something I really need to look at. By opening up those questions in their mind, by sharing this idea of what you've learned with them, you may find that you will no longer need to experience it that way, and you will overcome it as a process when you are sharing what you have learned from it. Not before you start sharing it, but as part of the process of sharing it.
So
You understand?
yes, I think I do. So being of service through my experience would be very important for me.
Being of service to others is the best way to be of service to yourself. because you are contained within the collective. So when you're willing to support the collective by being your true self as best as you can't be left out. You understand?
I see.
You're including yourself in that, paradoxically, by not focusing on yourself.
I see.
That's how it works. Because then you're out of your way. You've gotten out of your way, and you can let the reflection of what service and help you're giving come back to you. That's the origin of the old phrase, to help someone, you'll get it back tenfold. Because you're multiplying the opportunities and options for them, therefore you also get the multiplication of the opportunity for yourself. And it transforms things for them and you. Yes?
Yes, I see.
Giving of yourself and allowing others to receive what you have is the best way to heal yourself, as well as give them the option to heal themselves. Never hold back your gift. Never hold back your knowledge and learning. Those are the things people are waiting for. And when you hold them back because you think that what you have to share isn't worthwhile, you are compounding dis-ease in the world. See where we're going?
Yes.
So lighten your world up. Give them a better opportunity to change the experience for themselves by changing the experience for yourself by using it in the best possible positive way that you can, so that you are no longer ill at ease with yourself.
Illness, I'm assuming it's chosen before you come into this world, or is it
Not
attracted?
always. Not always. Again, remember, we are now speaking linearly, colloquially, just to have the conversation. Sometimes there are things set up, as you would say, linearly, before this life, that may be the way you feel you need to explore a certain theme. Sometimes you leave it open to how the theme will be explored. And if you find yourself gravitating toward belief systems that by definition would simply automatically attract disease, dis-ease, then you may allow yourself to fall into that experience just because that's one of the things that might have been the result of simply going down that path. It doesn't necessarily have to be decided beforehand, although the theme of exploration may have been decided, but the expression of that could have been done in any number of ways. So it just depends on what it is you have chosen to explore as to how specific the choice has to be. Sometimes things are planned to the second. Sometimes they're left very general, just as a way of saying, well, it could be this, it could be that. As long as it allows me to explore the theme I wish to explore, it could be a disease, it could be an accident, it could be finding something, it could be any number of different things. It just depends on how you wish to have that experience.
When you feel pain or discomfort or fatigue or something, it's in your body. How do you not feel it? I mean, it's just really impossible. I know you may not have a body.
Nothing is impossible, first of all. The idea is, of course, is that on your planet there are many people called yogis and other practitioners and shamans who have developed the ability to allow the idea of pain to be transformed. You understand?
Yeah.
You can do that too if you wish. But again, you must remember at the same time that because many of you have simply agreed to go along with a collective consensus of what physical reality is all about, some things you allow to simply be on automatic. So yes, when you have stubbed your toe, you will usually have some kind of painful sensation because you have agreed on the laws of physical reality, and thus then you simply don't need to take the time to circumvent that. At the same time, if it is of value to your particular exploration and your theme and your life lessons to understand how to transform that sensation into something else, then take some time to explore how the people that are already doing it on your planet do so. It's really mostly a matter of simply shifting your attention or redefining what it is you are experiencing.
So you can redefine anything, even the worst thing.
It's just energy. It's just vibrating energy. You can redefine all of it and have a completely different sensation. Have you not yourself seen or heard of demonstrations of what you call hypnosis, where a person is told that their skin is being touched with a lit cigarette and they blister when in fact it was just a person's finger? Have you not also conversely seen where people have been touched with a lit cigarette and not blistered because they were told it was just a person's finger? Have you not understood this idea?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think's happening there?
They
believe the reality they are being told.
Yeah.
Thus, then, that is the response.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah, I understand.
So anything can be transformed as long as the focus, as long as the energy, as long as the perspective says one thing, then whatever is not the vibration of that belief will never have the ability to affect that person.
These basic requirements, again, you have all heard them, but let us take a refresher course at this time, and it is basically as follows. It really is, in your terms, quite a moot point to discuss any specificity about the idea of how to cure this, how to get rid of that, how to clear this and that up, unless and until each and every one is fully utilizing these simple principles in their life. And number one would simply be this: oxygen. Many of you do not necessarily allow yourselves to get full requirement of oxygen in your systems, especially, no offense, in the way that your atmosphere happens to be at this time in terms of the fact that it is loaded with pollutants. The idea, of course, is the oxygenation of the system is the primary fundamental key that allows all of your cells the capacity to build themselves in the way that they need to be built. Oxygenation of the system is the fundamental element to begin with, and can to some degree be enhanced to the best of your ability by making at least an attempt to find some relatively clean environment, and or at least oxygenation of the system through the idea of deep breathing exercises, some kind of yogic practice, or at least some kind of restful meditation wherein there are deep, regular breaths, or at least the idea of relaxation, so that you are not, in that sense, panic breathing, which is short breaths, do not allow the idea for oxygenation of the system to fully occur. Number one, then, oxygen, oxygenation of the system. Number two, hydration of the system. Do you have enough water? You are, as physiological beings, mostly water, yet many of you will ingest many things that will actually divest you of the hydration of your system, dehydrate you. And as many of you are beginning to understand, many of the so-called symptomologies that you might begin to attribute to many exotic diseases are actually nothing more than the symptoms of dehydration. In the sense, then, that your body is similar, in a sense, by analogy to a battery. If you do not have proper hydration, not enough water, then your cells, in that sense, can burn out, short out. You can become, in that sense, dry, like a battery, and cease to function, cease to become electrically conductive. And in that sense, also, lack of hydration, lack of water in the system will not allow your cellular structure to flush the toxins in your system from the system, and this can cause many forms of buildup that will allow the immunological system and many cellular and enzymatic functions to cease, thus again causing many different kinds of symptomologies that can then open the door and lead the way to opportunistic organisms to bring about more and more complete forms of disease. So the second idea is hydration of the system. Each and every one of you must find that it will be generally acceptable to have between 1 and 2 quarts of water a day. Otherwise, you will find you may not really readily have enough. Now, of course, every single individual is different, but you must understand something very important. When you are actually thirsty, that is your body's final signal that you do not have enough water. If you had proper hydration, you would rarely ever be thirsty. So use that as a marker. Number 3, you have heard this, of course, many times, and again, it is of paramount importance and is not to be taken lightly: exercise. Movement. Movement is like the ability to pump the body, to allow the muscles to function as pumps for the cellular structures, to allow the water to flush the toxins from the system, to allow there to be energetic revitalization, and allow there to be strengthening of the muscular and skeletal structures, to utilize all of the different mineralogical elements that are going into the body and to allow them to act as building blocks nutritionally. Exercise and movement also, in that sense, will be representative of being active, of being energetic, of flowing energy through rather than allowing it to sit around and build up and convert itself into mass. In that sense, what you would call waiting to move. In that sense, in your language, then, the analogy of simply putting on weight because you are waiting to do something. The idea then is to understand that oxygen and hydration and movement are critical. Also then, very important, number 4, the reduction of stress in the system. Again, many of the so-called symptoms that many of you attribute to the beginnings of disease are simply nothing more than the side effects of undue stress in your lives. We would highly and strongly recommend that you find any way, shape, and form to reduce the stress in your lives, and if that means letting go of those things such as work situations and so forth that you know in your heart of hearts do not serve you, I would recommend that you do so. Or at least use your imagination to find a way to convert that situation into something more exciting, more enjoyable, more relaxing for you. Reduction of stress is of paramount importance in your society. Number 5, the actual attempt at elimination of whatever toxins may already be in the system, removal of the toxins from the environment you are in, removal of the toxins, cleansing of the system for the buildup of toxins that may already be in the body is also of critical importance, and there are many different kinds of cleansing rituals that one can take advantage of to allow the system of the body to be cleansed out from the buildup that may have occurred over time, and to allow yourself to remove from the body many different kinds of heavy metal poisonings, and to allow yourself to pay attention to what it is you put in your body in terms of the pesticides and the heavy metal toxicity that may exist side by side with many of your foodstuffs. So removal of the toxins from the system is also of paramount importance. Number 6, the idea also of lightening up your diet in many ways, especially in that in your society you have many different kinds of hormone imbalances and toxic substances that have been injected and added to many of your foodstuff. Lightening up your diet will at the very least assist your body by the ingestion of more and more foodstuffs that contain higher amounts of water, such again as the vegetable foodstuffs in that sense, that are mostly water, just like your body, and eaten in raw, fresh state, as organic as possible, will also be of great assistance in lightening up your energy and allowing for cleansing of the system. Some small amounts for certain individuals, again, where necessary, of protein, perhaps even in meat form, is acceptable from time to time, but we would suggest that you do not overdo it, especially in the day and age on your planet where you will find that many of the protein meat substances on your planet, as we have said, are heavily laden with all sorts of toxins. Be very cautious about that idea. And also understand that as you do accelerate your energy, as you do accelerate your systems, it will be less often that you will need such support, and you will find yourself being highly energized by less and less and less. And the more natural your food is, in that sense, the more capable it is of giving you, of delivering the nutrients that you need and energizing the system so that you actually need less food. So you will find that these things will work hand in hand, that as you clarify your system, give it oxygen, give it water, reduce the stress, so on and so forth, your body will be, A, more receptive to the nutrients that are there in your natural foods, and as you then feed it more naturally, you will find that you will be energized and require far less. So these ideas are simply the foundation of health. And if you will allow yourself to recognize that these are very simple things that can be added to your life, you will understand that in, shall we just say, for analogy's sake, 99.99999999999% of the cases, these 6 ideas alone will eliminate almost any chance you will ever have of contracting any kind of disease in your life at all. So when you talk about the idea of how do we cure cancers, how do we cure AIDS, how do we cure this, how do we cure that, that's how you do it. By changing the lifestyle in that way and making sure your body has the foundational things it needs so that you will simply never get these things, because the body in and of itself has the natural intelligence to never bring about these kinds of diseases if you simply supply it with the immediate natural fuels that it needs, which are oxygen and water and lack of stress and lightness of food in that sense. Plain and simple, that's really all it will take for most of the things and most of the ailments you find that exist upon your planet.
That when people experience depression, they're defining their experience in a negative way and so experiencing it as depression, when in fact all it really is the natural compression that happens when you know you're looking for answers that can't be found out there. So you go to where you know they are, within. And you reevaluate yourself, and you redefine yourself, and you emerge as a new person, literally. But if you define the idea of going within that way to look for answers as something antisocial, something's wrong with you, you're not outgoing anymore, you're withdrawn, if you start defining that idea in a negative way, even though it's a natural mechanism, you will start to experience the negative effects of defining it that way. And it turns into depression instead of compression.